So, I'm gonna answer a really common question that I'm getting at my current role, and also a lot of some of the clients I work with have as well. It's really common, which is, hey, I've got a good setter in place, like, oh, we've got a good team. How do we get them to make more dials? So whether you're thinking that, hey, your setters need to make, 100 dials a day, and just generally be more productive. The really common thing that I get asked from founders and leaders are, hey, how do we get them to make more dials? Because we know that more dials means more meetings and more sales for the company, right? And it's a really good question. It's usually where most people go to in the when they want to get more out of their setting team. But it also usually is the wrong question to ask. Again, on the theme of being counterintuitive, it's usually not the right place to start. And so what we want to do is we want to align two things. Number one is we want to align the comp, like the compensation of the rep, with the activities that we want, right? So if you think about it, reps don't really make money with dials. What do they make money on, right? They make money with appointment that attended, and then they make, hopefully they make money with sales close or revenue close, right? So those could be the two levers or both. So if we want the outcome of, hey, let's make more dials, first we got to think, how do we align the reps incentives with the outcome we want? And so you could also argue that as a business, you don't really want more dials, right? You want more revenue and more meetings for your sales team. So that's the first thing. And the reason why I bring it up is that so many companies don't even align their current compensation to what the reps can control and what the rep care about anyways. And so it's hard for us to make people do things that are not in align with their best interest, right? Like, it's hard for us ourselves. So like, why would we expect other people to behave differently? And so one is you want to make sure that the compensation plan is aligned with the behaviors that you want first. And also think about, like, okay, if you want more dials, what's kind of what can get us there without it being a dial? Because a lot of the times company will say, hey, you there, sales rep, appointment setter, you got to make 100 dials a day. And some companies don't even pay a base salary, right? So they expect a rep to make 100 dials a day without really any incentive tied to the activity. So that's why you want to think about that. So the second thing is, okay, if it's not dial win, then what is it? The two things is, one, you want to align their comp or their goal, like how much money you want to make, to the activity, right? So in my opinion, a better metric and a better activity to align with the reps is one level higher than dial. So what's next after dials? Conversations, right? Why? Because conversations lead to meetings booked, and meetings booked lead to revenues, right? Or appointments attended and revenue closed. So reps might not make money directly from dialing, but they definitely can move the needles forward with conversations. And you might argue that, hey, well, you wouldn't have any conversations unless you make the dials. That might be true, but there are other ways for a rep to get more conversations without just blindly making more dials, right? Because if you kind of hard enforce and make them make the 100 dials, there's other ways to game it, right? Me as a rep, if you pay me for making dials, I can make 100 dials without talking to anybody. So what you really want is conversations, right? Because you can also track quality of conversation. You can't really track quality of the dials. And so that's, I had this question come up recently. That's what I would align on. What levers and how can we coach the rep on having more conversations in their day? And then align and show them how having more conversations going to help them make more money, right? And the dials should naturally come as a result of aligning the rep and showing the rep that by having more conversations, they're going to make more money and hit their income goal, right? And coach them to that, naturally more dials will come without you having to hard enforce. And it's also not very easy to enforce anyways, to make the rep do more dials. So that hopefully that helps. Drop a comment below if you have any questions, and subscribe to learn more about how to build a high performing sales teams, whether that's setting or closing.